welcome to Coffee and a Conversation hosted by CJ Abernathy for South Dakota District 23 Senate 2020. A father, a Marine Corps combat veteran of Iraq and Afghanistan, Purple Heart recipient, with a bachelor's degree in information technology software engineering. CJ is a podcast producer and host. Please check out our social media pages for more information. If you would like to join this broadcast, click the link in the description to join. Coffee and a Conversation starts now. Have a good day or don't, the choice is always yours.
Morning, everybody. It's your boy CJ, the Internet Warlord, coming to you live and loud from the great state of Meth Dakota. You know Meth Dakota, it's a state just south of North Dakota, that Dakota. The one that is on meth. Although I don't do meth. Again, as a libertarian, I don't care what you put in your body. That's your choice. I don't wake up and go, where's the meth? But hey, if you do, I just ask that you don't harm others. So last night I added a bunch of new friends to my friends list. It's, as you can see, it's not translating into numbers. So I'm more than convinced that Facebook is nothing more than a suppression of information vessel on social media. And to be perfectly honest, I'm going to be enjoying eventually leaving this. But as I told you guys yesterday, I am going to keep doing Coffee and a Conversation here because when you're running for office, win, lose, or draw, I still think that the broadcast itself should be made available to the public. So, but that leads me to where I'm going with this broadcast. So, I don't know why it's doing it this way. There we go. I meant to have this up and ready to go. But you guys know that my bread and butter for my my broadcasting, excuse me, I'm a little tired this morning, is Internet Warlords. I really do like the idea of transitioning away from Facebook, and I think Patreon still utilizes YouTube to some degree, but what I've done here is created the Internet Warlords Patreon page, which again, we'll get there. You know, it's nothing special at the moment. It'll get there, but as you guys can see here, I got some membership levels here. $5 makes you a little warlord. $10 makes you part of the Warlord Strike Team. And for $20 a month, you too can call yourself an Internet Warlord. And so by helping me in this manner, you will be helping me not have to be censored. So for everybody that watches my stuff after the fact, everybody that watches my stuff and doesn't participate, and you just see it after, and then you either ignore it or you react to it, you'll still be able to see it after the fact. But if you want to participate live with me on Internet Warlords, that is going to be the only way you can moving forward in the world. And like I said, this is still, like I said, I think this should be public information. This should be open to the public. Oh, speaking of open to the public, I forgot to throw this in there again. See, it's at 1 in the mornings, folks, but we'll get there. To join this broadcast, click the link. It might not do it for YouTube this morning. It normally has a problem if I don't get to it right like that. But we'll see. We'll see what it does. Yep, YouTube, I am sorry. If you want to join the broadcast, you're going to have to go over to Facebook if you want to join this morning. So, but that link should be at the top of the Facebook page now. Yep, there we go. Why isn't it giving you the link? Weird. That is weird. Let's go ahead and space that out one. See if that helps it out. Not giving it a link. Try that again. Good morning, Jody. I see you in the comments there. There we go. The link to StreamYard is in the description. So, again, I don't get why people complain, gripe, moan. Does it really have to be this way? Honestly, America, are we not better than this? Do we not have things that we can do, that we can all do to make this world a better place? Let's get right to the headlines this morning. Atlanta officer charged in Rayshard Brooks fatal shooting. Officers charged in Rayshard Brooks fatal shooting turns themselves in. Now again, I don't know what this is right there, but we'll just go to both of Atlanta police officers charged in the connection with the shooting deaths of 27-year-old Rayshard Brooks turned themselves in on Thursday, according to jail records and their attorneys. Garrett Ralph was charged with felony murder along with 10 other charges, and Devin Brosnan was charged with aggravated assault and oath violations. The Fulton County Jail confirmed that Bronson had been booked on Thursday morning. Brosnan is accused of standing on Brooks after he was shot by Ralph. Instead of providing him medical attention, he had been placed on administrative duty. After Thursday, Ralph's legal team announced that their client had also turned himself in at Fulton County Jail. The jail had confirmed he arrived at 3:18 and that he was not edible. He was not eligible. It doesn't really have to be this way, folks. Now, we went through the ups and the downs of of the manslaughter, murder. We went through it all. We broke it down. We watched the video, and I'm gonna say I'm somewhere stuck between maybe at best I'd give him involuntary manslaughter or even self-defense. Like based on what we've found here, that's something else. Jody, done. CJ, post the link. Jody, thank you. You're my newest Patreon member. I appreciate that. Thank you so much for your support. Yeah, thank you. I hope to earn that as we go forward. Thank you. All right, let's see here. Oh, and I will send you a message too afterwards. That's part of the deal. You get this mug customized to you. So, anyways, moving back to Tweedledee and Tweedledum here. It's one of those things where, again, people want the heads. The George Floyd. They want an excuse. They see what happens, and they want it to spark ignite the fire. Both proverbially and literally. And what blows my mind in all of this is that the public would much rather stay ignorant to the fact that, well, let's put it to you this way. I'm going to go to a man that is going to trigger some people here, but I listen to him almost every day. Not every single day, but but again, he's a right-wing guy. Conservative political commentator, radio show host, author, former congressional candidate, and former Secret Service agent Dan Bongino. And again, say what you will about the man. Let me go ahead and get over to YouTube then, huh? But he made a valid point here that a lot of people are not going to bring up today. And they're not going to bring it up at all. All right, let me go ahead and mute this real quick. And again, this is why you should listen to even people that you don't always agree with. Because when you figure out, or when they figure something out, you should really take into consideration that you don't know it all. All right, so he had a really good segment here that I'm going to put on here and let you guys listen to for a minute here and really hear the words. And in all fairness to Mr. Bongino here for using his clip, please do go subscribe to his page. He breaks down the news analysis. This is where I hope to be someday. Actually, I mean, more in a libertarian mindset way of thinking, not conservative. Conservative libertarian, sure, but at the end of the day, he's gonna point out in this segment that people are saying, oh, tasers, it's not deadly. It's not deadly. You're not educated. That's the problem. See, tasers can definitely be deadly, and Dan's about to break it down. So again, this is Dan Bongino, a conservative Republican commentator for sure. He's on Fox News, but this segment right here is going to break down the video. I see that there, G Lee. Good morning. It's still on mute. I'm just trying to get it to the right spot. So.
Tasers, death. But that doesn't matter. Just checking. Mr. Brooks, I'm not sure what his taser training is. With the taser, not just in the hands of an untrained individual.
I'm gonna try to get
even worse.
I'm just trying to get in the hand here real quick, so that way I should have had this ready to go for sure, but. All right, we'll just start here.
At all. All the subject has to do in a fleeing felon case is present the threat of serious physical injury or death to the officer or to someone else.
Do
you understand, liberals? I know this is hard. Facts and stuff. I get that. Please research the case yourself, the Tennessee Garner case. It's not hard to read. A police officer can use potentially deadly force if the fleeing subject is a threat to cause serious physical injury or death. Chris Cuomo on CNN doesn't know that either, who is dumber than a box of rocks with moss growing on them, who's constantly trying to inflame the situation as well. Now, it's interesting that the media, keep in mind, I just told you the taser doesn't even have to be deadly force. It just has to cause serious physical injury. You know, Joe, like a taser barb to the face, kind of serious. No, just saying.
Yeah.
But that's not even the requirement, deadly force. But the media has claimed, even worse for them in their lies, that the taser is in fact deadly force. Come on, Dan. They're telling us the opposite now. It's just a taser, man. It's just a taser. Let's go to the New York Times themselves. Again, showing you the idiocy of these complete losers who you should entirely ignore. This is the New York Times back in 2012. Tasers pose a risk to heart, a study warns. Oh, that headline doesn't sound so bad. Well, let's just go to the opening paragraph. Same New York Times trying to argue to you now about tasers, no big deal. New York Times, the electrical shock delivered to the chest by a taser can lead to cardiac arrest and sudden death, according to a new study, although it is unknown how frequently such deaths occur. You may say to yourself, if you just tuned in a second ago on the radio or elsewhere, you may say, the New York Times, they just wrote that? They're acknowledging a taser could cause death?
Now, he's going to make a point here in this coming segment that, again, is about to exonerate the officers. And to be perfectly honest, again, I don't care where you lean politically. I've watched Dan Bongino's show and go, oh man, Dan, I really don't really agree with you in this aspect, and I would more than be happy to articulate to him why I don't agree with him in some aspects on certain subjects. But this one, he nails, and not only does he nail, he's the only one I've seen in media with this perspective and shown it from this angle and talked about it in this manner, where if this is the argument of the defense team, and we'll get into it, this is where they will be exonerated in a court of law for sure. So, again, if you're just tuning in, appreciate it.
No. They wrote that in 2012. They changed their mind now. Now, because it's a different political scenario. And, they're like the Soviets. They're the Soviet media. The Soviet Pravda, New York Times. They're going to change their story now tomorrow. No, that thing we wrote in 2012, that's not true anymore. No. We were kidding when we said that. Just a joke. We're just messing around.
Cool.
You may say, Joe, just the New York Times? No, not just the New York Times. It's concluded a taser could be a deadly weapon. Even worse, in the hands of an untrained individual. Trained people know with a taser not to shoot at the head with it. Mr. Brooks, I'm not sure what his taser training is. I'm pretty sure it's not that detailed. Just checking. And keep in mind, again, that's not even the standard. The standard is SPI, causing serious physical injury. It's not even has to cause death. But that doesn't matter to liberals because they're morons. Here's Reuters on tasers. Again, I'm sure this article is going to be retracted immediately, right, Reuters? Of course not, because they're entirely full of crap and they just don't care. Here's 2019 Reuters. As death toll keeps rising, U.S. communities start rethinking taser use. This article will probably disappear tomorrow, my guess. What about that, Reuters? So tasers can be deadly, so communities are rethinking their use? You're going to put that in the article about Mr. Brooks, right? Taser, he points in the face of the cop pursuing. That's going to be in your articles, right? The New York Times? Of course it isn't. I'm not even kidding, folks. I genuinely feel bad for you if you're getting your news elsewhere from other people because they are all abysmal, disgusting, grotesque liars.
This is why I love Dan. He's basically saying, like, I am the only one that gives you the right information every time. Now listen, again, we can agree to disagree on certain topics, but in this case, in this instance, Dan Bongino is about to make the argument for why these two cops should be exonerated. And so, again, I'm not the guy that just sits here and defends cops and licks the thin blue line. If I believed that these two cops murdered this man, I would be the first one going, send them to the guillotine, chop off their head, I'll bring the popcorn. So real quick in the comments, I'm seeing, why can't they use non-lethal force? Like for example here, Jody asks, I don't get why they can't just shoot to disable if they have to shoot, that is. Now, the only experience, I'm not a law enforcement officer, I've never been, don't claim to be. The only thing I have is Marine Corps training, and they don't teach us to shoot to wound. Again, it's not shoot to wound, it's shoot to kill, and that is the way that they're trained. So, let's see here. G. Lee's got a good one. So when it's used on civilians, it's non-lethal. But when people use it on pigs, it's lethal. Again, your vernacular is your vernacular. But when it's used on civilians, it's non-lethal. That's not true. In fact, that's what all these articles are saying, that the taser it poses some form of lethal, potentially lethal consequences. So let's see here. Good morning, Mr. Gilligan. It's all political law. Wake up, America. Be real. Yes, I agree with you 100%. Dan Bongino, I don't know if you've ever met him, Mr. Gilligan. He talks about being a cop in New York. I listen to him regularly. Probably one of the most fair, conservative-minded people in the media, I still believe. Well, let me go ahead and continue this here while we got follow up. Mike says police officers are trained to shoot to stop and target center mass. I know this from my training. Correct. So, as Mr. Gilligan says here, they don't shoot to give you a back massage. They're not shooting at you to be your friend. They're shooting at you because you posed a serious threat to them. That's why in their minds they are shooting at you. So, but again, like I said, Dan is about to break down basic exoneration for the law enforcement officers in this case,
who won't even acknowledge their own reporting. Now you may say, all right, Dan, you just presented some evidence here that the New York Times and Reuters at least believe tasers can be deadly weapons. I mean, they wrote it and all, right? Haven't retracted those pieces.
yeah.
But clearly the Fulton County District Attorney, Paul Howard, this corruptocrat who just, I mean, in one of the most disgraceful charging episodes I've ever seen in my life, the most. Clearly, he doesn't believe the taser's a deadly weapon, Joe. I mean, we just showed video, right, where he said, quote, about Mr. Brooks, that Mr. Brooks never presented as a threat. His quote, not...
Okay. 1803. I guess I missed that. I guess I missed the video of the district attorney here. Go ahead. Get that real quick.
...presented a threat. Check this out in his own words.
We concluded and considered it as one of our important considerations that Mr. Brooks never presented himself as a threat.
Okay, now, 1803, back there.
Never presented as a threat. His quote, not mine. Taser, face of the police. His words, folks. Again, I know logic is hard for the liberals listening to the show. I know that's tough. So let's listen to Paul Howard 2 weeks ago when the tables were turned and the police officer using the taser that wasn't stolen from them, by the way, by Mr. Brooks. When a separate set of police officers pulled over some kids in a car and used one of the tasers, Howard thought it was politically advantageous to attack those cops too. So then he's trying to make the point about how dangerous tasers are because the cops were very dangerous to these kids. Listen to Paul Howard about tasers just 2 weeks ago. Check this out.
And charged with aggravated assault of Ms. Pilgrim. And this is for pointing a taser at Mrs. Pilgrim. And as many of you all know, under Georgia law, a taser is considered as a deadly weapon under Georgia law.
All right. Yeah, Dan, I'll let you have that face there for a minute. That is a I'm pretty sure that phase right there is the universal sign for what? So again, Dan Bongino, thank you for pointing this out. The Georgia district attorney that's charging these two officers. In one hand, on one side of the coin, he is he's saying tasers are a deadly weapon. On the other side of it, he is saying that a taser is a not threat. So he's forgetting the fact that this man stole a taser, or he is intentionally misleading the public. Either way, I'll let you take your pick. Georgia law tasers, deadly weapon.
According to Georgia law enforcement, for Georgia law, a taser is classified as a less lethal firearm as they do occasionally cause death.
Who's lying? Oh, that's based on a Georgia law enforcement leo.org. Let's see here. Stun gun laws in Georgia. All right, here's a BitChute article that considers tasers a deadly weapon. Let's go ahead and check this out.
As many of you all know, under Georgia law, a taser is considered as a deadly weapon under Georgia law. As many of you all know, under Georgia law, a taser is considered as a deadly weapon under Georgia law.
63. 63.
Now, he's pointed the taser's pointed back at him. The moment, you can actually see it in the police, the moment he turns, that officer's hand goes to his weapon. So, the officer's being presented a threat that even the district attorney says is, let's just go back and listen to it, since I didn't have the screen right.
As many of you all know, under Georgia law, a taser is considered as a deadly weapon under Georgia law. As many of you all know, under Georgia law, a taser is considered as a deadly weapon under Georgia law.
63. 63.
He fired a deadly weapon.
As many of you all know, under Georgia law, a taser is considered as a deadly weapon under Georgia law.
63.
Watch his hand right here. As soon as he turns his back. I mean, it's milliseconds. You can see it. You can see it. And I mean, was he hit? Yeah, he fired it twice. There is a 1.2 second from Brooks' start to turn his back to deploy the taser to the first shot. This is how quick he had to make a decision.
As many of you all know, under Georgia law, a taser is considered as a deadly weapon under Georgia law.
All right. Oh, hang on. And then there's a picture here. All right. Can you tell me what that is? What is he holding? Is that a gun? A flare? What is that? What is he holding? A phone? What is he holding? Shoot or not shoot? What are you doing? I'll tell you what. Every time, every day, I'd be shooting. Make no mistake about it. But I don't know. I'm not in a profession where I have to chase somebody down and all this, that, and the other. I mean, the worst thing that happens to me is somebody goes, "Oh, I don't like your CJ. I'm not watching." You know, like, or unfriend. You know, like, what do? But again, like I said, I didn't see a murder. And the fact that you have the district, that video right there is going to exonerate those two cops, whether you like it or not. I mean, not even involuntary manslaughter. Now, can you say what they did after the fact was pretty heinous? Standing on him, kicking him. Again, I'm not justifying any of that. I'm just saying you can't justify murder, or at this point, even manslaughter. So, like I said, it's a tough case, but I believe that is enough to exonerate these two officers. Should they be on the force? Am I saying they should go back to work tomorrow and this was just a bad day at the office? No, I am not saying that by any stretch of the imagination. Am I saying they should even be cops? No, I'm not even saying that. In some instances, I'm saying that it's time to get a new profession, gentlemen. You know, it's time to turn in your badges, and it's time to go do something else. I didn't see a murder, and again, anybody's welcome to click the link in the description and explain it to me why that's murder when you have the district attorney saying, "Hey, a taser is a lethal weapon under Georgia law." So he stole a lethal weapon from law enforcement, turned to fire said lethal weapon, and the officers responded with lethal force. Duh. So they are setting up a new round of riots. Don't properly charge after a long trial, which will exonerate the officers. Please, it's so plain to see. I agree, Mr. Gilligan, and that's what I'm saying. They're looking for the Georgia George Floyd. This is opportunistic at best. And again, as Mike was saying yesterday on the broadcast, that that this is political law. These are cops that are not. They don't have their own autonomy. They don't have their own discretion. They are the useful pawns in a game that they don't control, where it's advantageous to the media. It's to cover things up. It's to lie about things, to mislead. And again, you don't have to agree with me. You just can't justify it. And that's the beautiful thing about jury nullification. That's the beautiful thing about trial by jury. So that all evidence can be presented. Because if it was just some of you moronic social justice warrior off with their heads because we need another excuse to riot. We need another martyr is what you need. This right here is you're not going to win. It's a losing battle. Like I said, I'd be the first guy just waiting to get on the internet to go hang these motherfuckers for murder if this was what they did. So, again, we can agree to disagree, but I'm not really agreeing to disagree with you in this point. I'm saying it's not murder. I'm saying it's not involuntary manslaughter. It's not voluntary manslaughter. It, at best, is self-defense. So, and the argument, before I get too far into this, I want to take the argument for why some people are making this argument for these officers. And it's pretty simple. They're saying, well, there was no victim. There was no victim in this. Listen, until we get it on the books, no victim, no crime. The government doesn't give a fuck what we say. If we could go, no victim, no crime all day long. The law enforcement officers of this country are not trained that way. They don't care. They don't follow the Constitution. They follow political law. They follow admiralty law. They follow a law foreign to the Constitution. I don't even think that you can even call what they did misconduct. Under their own laws, under their own statutes, under their own codes, under the people live all under the same, whether you call it tyrannical or not, law. We can scream as libertarians from the mountaintops, there's no victim, there's no crime, there's no corpus delicti. We can scream it all day long. But the fact is, until we get libertarians into public office to change the laws, this is what we all live under, whether you like it or not. You're virtue signaling. No victim, no crime. I agree with you, though. If there's no victim, there is no crime. And if we had that in the laws, if officers were trained where there is no victim, there is no crime, and they have discretion to say, hey, if you had to make every law enforcement officer go, hey, you can't take that man to a courtroom unless there's a victim going on the stand against him. If that was the way, then Mr. Brooks would be here today. They would say, hey, man, you're lucky you didn't cause anybody to get bodily injury or harm, because if you did, if there was a victim, you'd be going to a courtroom in front of a judge right now. That officer would have that discretion. You want to change policing, take away qualified immunity, but give them discretion. Give them that compromise. I call that the beautiful compromise that I would hope we could all agree to say, hey, we're going to take away qualified immunity, meaning you can't just murder somebody and get away with it and claim that it's all within the scope of your job, but we're going to give you back your discretion. And the only way that you can bring somebody to a courtroom to book them on any charges is if you're bringing somebody else with you that says they were a victim of the person you're charging. By doing that, you are essentially reforming the police department to say, hey, officers have discretion, but they're responsible for that discretion. But you're not going to, I refuse to, just because you think I just hate cops all day long, like that's all I do is hate cops. CJ just hates cops. I refuse to be that guy for you. I'm not the guy that's just going to bleh out and say all cops are guilty. Until we get libertarians in office to change the laws that say where there's no victim, there's no crime, we all live under this law. And it's no different than the social justice warriors out there chanting and screaming and rallying behind their causes for you doing the same thing. Whether you're if you're in my comment thread going, no victim, no crime, these officers need to be charged. That's not the case. That's not how it works. That's literally not how it works. So, again, these officers are going to be exonerated. I guarantee it. How about this? This is where we will agree. We will agree. All cops are bastards. How about, I'll say it this way. All cops can be bastards. Choice is always theirs. Either way, I think we've kicked that horse enough. So, I think it's dead, pun intended. All right, let's get out of here. Let's get out of that story. Let's get to something a little more entertaining in the world of I enjoy. So let's see here. Next article we have on deck is Xbox Series X leaks reveals crazy cheap digital edition to beat the PS5. I'm really quite pissed off about this because the Xbox here, as you can see, it's a box. It's a literal box. That's not gonna fit in my TV entertainment center here, my fireplace over here. That's not gonna fit there. That sucks. But I will get one of these things, these suckers, and believe me, I'm starting to save now. And if you just join my Patreon right now and help support the broadcast, I would appreciate it. I'm going to do my best to earn your support again here. Internet Warlords is on Patreon. This is where this will be the new home. See what I'm saying right now? This is the censored version of me. This is I can't say what I want to really say about things, and I can't speak in a way that the public would appreciate in some instances. So if you really want to know, you can go over here and I'll do that. You guys can see I've set it up. I've got the memberships. It tells you exactly what you get. It tells you what you can expect from me. And as we go forward, if you're a little warlord, it's $5. Warlord Strike Team, $10, and you can only call yourself an internet warlord if you pay the $20 a month. So that is the warlord fee. Yes, we're shaking you down now on internet warlords here. But back to the Xbox here. It's gonna be, like I said, I'll have to see what it does on the back end of this afterwards. I don't like how they haven't really updated the controller. I think that's a slap in the face to every Xbox user. Although they do have a button, I believe, in the middle of the controller they've added that allows you to record things faster. If Microsoft does indeed have a second next-gen Xbox console in the works, then it could be half the price of the Xbox Series X. That's according to a reasonably reliable tech tipster going by the name of Eastman on the Beyond 3D forums, who claimed that Microsoft Insider tipped them off about an all-digital Xbox console that'll be significantly cheaper than the Xbox Series X and PS5. Last I heard, it'll be half the price of the XSX. Wow. Woo, that's going to be a fun tongue twister for everybody. And last I heard, at Microsoft were preparing for a $400 XSX. Man, try that one. I'm not sure what the final price will be. I think if Sony is 500, 600, Microsoft may try to go in at 2, 4, or 500, but we'll see. Let's see. But yeah, so for those of you that don't know, I believe the Xbox is going to be. I believe that Xbox is going to win the price war on this one. I think it was PlayStation said it was going to be what, $6.99 for the new PlayStation. I don't know. It just and you know what? This is to speak truth real quick. I think that has more to do with I think that has more to do with the fact that the US dollar is so freaking low that every console is essentially. Why isn't it letting me use this? Man, I don't want a New York Times subscription. Man. All right, well, I'm not doing that. But I did want to bring up this article real quick here. It's in the New York Times. It says Facebook removes Trump ad displaying symbol used by the Nazis. Just a little quick headliner here. Nazi used a red triangle to classify political prisoners during World War II. The Trump campaign said the red triangle in its Facebook ad was associated with Antifa, and claim experts reject. So, he's trying to say that Antifa are the Nazis. I don't know. So, all right, let's see here. On we go. To a story that I honestly, I'm gonna not say I'm the expert on, because again, I'm not the expert on anything. So, all right, let's see here. Trump claims nobody had ever heard of Juneteenth before he made it, quote, very famous. President Trump took credit for popularizing Juneteenth in an interview with the Wall Street Journal on Thursday, stating that no one had ever heard of the June 19th holiday commemorating the emancipation of black slaves in the U.S. before he scheduled a political rally in Tulsa, Oklahoma on that day, claiming, I did something good. I made Juneteenth famous. Very famous, excuse me. Trump initially scheduled his first campaign rally in months in June and 19th in Tulsa, but later rescheduled to tomorrow out of respect for the holiday. In Wednesday's Wall Street Journal interview, Trump said a black Secret Service agent told him the meaning of Juneteenth when the president initially faced criticism for following his announcement of the rally. Also fueling criticism of the rally is that Tulsa was the site of the massacre in 1921, in which mobs of white residents attacked black residents in business in a section of the city referred to as, quote, Black Wall Street, unquote. Speaking on Juneteenth, Trump told the Wall Street Journal, quote, it's actually an important event, an important time, but nobody had ever heard of it. The Trump administration had put out a statement on Juneteenth each of his first 3 years in office. Quote, oh, really? We put out a statement. The Trump White House put out a statement, Trump said, then informed of this fact. Okay, good. Man. Well, that not to be outdone by the Orange Messiah. Let's see here. Where did she go? Where did you come from? Where did you go? Where did you come from, Kristi Noem? Oh, man. All right, I got to log back in here real quick. We still got a little time here, so no rush. governor. I wish they'd just call her what she thinks she is, and that's queen. You know, like, why can't they just refer to her as what her proper title is? You know, she was given the ring of power by the Trump administration, and I'll let you guess for what reasons. But let's see here. She was speaking with law enforcement, and she was licking the boot. Where was it at? I know it was done by proclamation. Oh, man. The Noam campaign, of course, you know, they're inconsistent when it comes to that. So let's go here. Governor Kristi Noem Juneteenth proclamation.
Here are some matching videos.
All right, here we go. I guess we got a video from the Argus Leader here, or an article that we can refer to. Again, this is pandering by the Republican Party. Make no mistake about it. I mean, I'm not gonna call it anything other than what it is, and we'll just let it be what they want it to be. You know, hey, if it's a holiday, it's a holiday. You know, reflect on all holidays. You know, whether you agree with them or not, or want to participate or not, it's a choice. I don't know why the video's not playing. I have no idea why the video's not playing. Go ahead and refresh. It don't look like the video's about to play, but either way, let's see if I can get this to even. Man, I'll tell you what. Some things never change. All right, we'll just go with this one, and we'll just call it a day with this topic. South Dakota governor declares Friday Juneteenth Day. Joining the other states, South Dakota Queen Kristi Noem has proclaimed Friday as Juneteenth Day in memory of the 155th anniversary. Now listen, folks. Listen, folks. Be real. It's been 155 years since this has been an anniversary of the Emancipation Proclamation. And they're just doing this now. Okay? Okay. South Dakota prides itself on freedom. Bullshit. Kristi Noem, you dumb. Oh, this is why you have to join Patreon. South Dakota prides itself on freedom, Kristi? Really? Are you that stupid? Really? Let's put it to you this way. You're the same woman that said you snort hemp to get high, vetoed it, and in an era where South Dakota farmers need an industry that they can create from the ground up, because at one time we had the greatest economy in the world here in the state of South Dakota. And you're saying South Dakota prides itself on freedom. You deserve this every day you are in office. Wow. I can't fix your kind of stupid. You literally are the queen of meth, Dakota. Make no mistake about it. South Dakota prides itself on freedom. Fuck you. Fuck you. Seriously. You are the dumbest woman in the history of governors. Make no mistake about it. Make no mistake about it. Now, see, I don't even care to read the rest of this. I don't even care to read the rest of this, Kristi. You are so stupid. You are very stupid. Very, very stupid woman. Very stupid. That's all I can just... It's the only thing that comes to my brain when I listen to your words. You are very stupid woman. And it's not because you're a woman you're stupid. You're just a very stupid person. Very stupid person. Make no mistake about it. Ugh. Ugh. Oh, man. All right. Okay. Let me get into another story that's not going to give me anxiety and depression. Christy Noam, you are the dumbest woman in the history of female gender. Make no mistake about it. Astronomers detect regular rhythm of radio waves with origins unknown. Signal from 50 million, or excuse me, signal from 500 million light years away is the first periodic pattern of radio bursts detected. Interesting little side story here for the morning. A team of astronomers, including researchers at MIT, has picked up on a curious repeating rhythm of fast radio bursts emanating from an unknown source outside our galaxy, 500 million light years away. First radio bursts, or FRBs, are short, intense flashes of radio waves that are thought to be. Oh no, they are short. They're short waves. Okay, gotcha. That are thought to be the product of small, distant, extremely dense objects. Though exactly what those objects might be is a long-standing mystery in astrophysics. FRBs typically last a few milliseconds, during which time they can outshine entire galaxies. Since the first FRB was observed in 2007, astronomers have cataloged over 500 fast radio bursts from distant sources scattered across the universe outside our own galaxy. For the most part, these detections were one-offs, flashing briefly before disappearing entirely. In a handful of instances, astronomers observed fast radio bursts multiple times from the same source, though no discernible pattern. This new FRB source, which the team has cataloged as FRB 18, I'm not even going to try that. I'm not even going to try that. Is the first to produce a periodic or cyclical pattern of fast radio bursts. The pattern begins with a noisy 4-day window during which the source emits random bursts of radio waves, followed by a 12-day period of radio silence. So it's 4 days on, 12 days off. Interesting. The astronomers observed that this 16-day pattern of fast radio bursts reoccurred consistently over 500 days observed. Okay, folks. 4 days on, 12 days off. 4 days on, 12 days off. For 500 days. All right, folks. Come on now. ET's out there. Come on. Quote, this FRB we're reporting now is like clockwork, says Miyoshi Masui? I don't know. Assistant professor of physics at MIT Cavalli Institute for Astrophysics and Space Research. Quote, it's the most definitive pattern we've seen from one of these sources, and it's a big clue that we can use to start hunting down the physics of what's causing these bright flashes, which nobody really understands. So, if they don't understand it on their end, I'm not going to understand it on my end, but I can understand 4 days on, 12 days off, 4 days on, 12 days off, 4 days on, 12 days off for 500 observable days. Could be a sign of something. Make no mistake about it. So, let's do a quick Facebook rundown in case I missed anything. Again, I added a bunch of new friends, so if you all are watching this for the first time on the friends list, thanks for tuning in. Don't forget, again, if you really want to help and support, I am now on Patreon, and I will be moving my Patreon. Internet Warlords is exclusively, you will never see a live Internet Warlords broadcast again on Facebook or YouTube. It's not going to happen. I can say whatever I want on this platform. I can do whatever I want. In fact, did you know when you sign up for Patreon, it says, hey, You can show your naughty giblets to everybody that's a Patreon if you really wanted to. You just can't show it to kids. Click here to verify you're over 18. I was like, holy cow! A page that's like, hey, if I just want to be like, hey guys, for $500 a month, you can just stare at my naughty giblets. Not that I'm gonna do that, but that's the difference between Facebook and Patreon. So I can be the uncensored internet warlord over on Patreon, and that's why I'm making the switch. The coffee and the conversations are just because I'm running for office, not because I don't want to go over there right now and just make all my content behind a paywall. But I believe that since I'm running for public office, I should still maintain at least this broadcast out to the public. So that's what I'm doing. Real quick check over on Facebook again. Oh yeah, okay, I did miss something here in the Georgia case. Let me go ahead and pull this up real quick. This is why I do this. Open a link in a new tab. All right, so there's a response that came out in regards to this case. Officer charged with felony murder and Rashard Brooks shooting response through legal team. I'm not going to get all the way into this Daily Wire article here, but I do want to get to the meat and potatoes of it. Mr. Brooks continued his assault and disarmed Officer Brosnan, stealing his city-issued taser, committing a robbery. Another forcible felony under Georgia law that firearms see this. Okay, that's not the right one. Okay, here it is. The loss of this is from the attorneys for Ralph here. Right there. Boom. Okay, so we want this. This is the meat and potatoes of what we're looking for. Loss of life in any instance is tragic. However, Officer Ralph's actions were justified under. And this right here is where the attorneys are saying, hey, he had authorization for use of deadly force. So we'll just go ahead and plug those in. Authorization of arrest without warrant. And the other one is use of force in defense of self or others. That's what they're going to be claiming. So, as you can see, it's right here for everybody to read. That's how you go through and figure out what the defense is saying. I think it's pretty self-explanatory for the authorization of arrest with and without warrants, although I don't agree without warrant. I mean, unless it's the officer witnessing the crime where there's a victim directly. And again, I get it. No victim, no crime. Blah, blah, blah. So, like I said. Anyways, but yeah, the use of force in defense of self or others, that is what the legal team is going to be arguing to the jury. So that's the heads up there. Real quick, I wanted to point this out. I don't know who St. Andrew is here, but they made a very valid point, and I think it deserves being brought onto the air. If you watch somebody get murdered on camera by police officers and they cry out for their mother, begging the officer to stop, saying they can't breathe, and think, quote, let me find out if they deserved it by looking up their past, you're a psychopath. And I just wanted to echo that yes, you would be a psychopath if that is what you are actually doing, for sure. And we'll go over the no victim, no crime here real quick, just to put it on the screen here. Was there a victim? No. Then no crime has been committed. Was there a victim? Yes. Was the victim society? No. Then a crime has been committed. Yes. No crime has been committed. Not sure if there's a victim. Where someone's rights violated? No. Then no crime has been committed. If somebody's rights were violated, then yes, a crime has been committed. Make no mistake about it. I support anything that takes away victimless acts and taking them from and making them not criminal. If there's no victim, there is no crime. Quick story that'll be missed here. State trooper under investigation for texting nude photos from phone of woman he arrested. Interesting little caveat story this morning. Let's see here. One that I'm personally, I understand it's a private business, so I'm not going to argue this one necessarily as a deal breaker for me, because again, it's a private business. But American Airlines bans activist who was kicked off plane for refusing to wear mask. Yeah, if they require me to wear a mask to get to Orlando, then I've got my mask though. Make no mistake about it. I have a mask, and if anybody tells me I can't wear my mask, make no mistake about it. You will see me on the evening news. If you can tell me to wear a mask, you just can't tell me what kind of mask I have to wear in public. So, again, prepare for the news cycle change. It's coming. Whether you like it or not, they're going to find the next shiny object for people to do that. Again, real quick, going back to the Patreon, this is what you're going to be seeing. I did this as a test yesterday. You guys are going to see most of my content over on Facebook behind a paywall, meaning you're not even going to get to listen to me or talk to me moving forward after this rigged election is over, unless you join my Patreon. Again, that's what you're going to start seeing here on Facebook. And so, sorry I'm not sorry. It's been a long time coming. I appreciate all of you guys that'll support me in that way. Again, just I guess a shameless last minute plug for the Internet Warlords here again. $5 a month makes you a little warlord. All right. And if you're like, all right, you know what, I want to be more involved in that. I want to be on the strike team. That's $10, and it's got a list here of everything that you can do. And as you can see, as it goes down, you got more exclusive content, able to reach me behind the scenes, even private communication for $20 a month. You can send me a message on Patreon, and I check that thing first thing in the morning. So if you want to join my broadcast, if you want to be on Internet Warlords, if you want to participate what I'm going to be doing moving forward, this is your only access point to be doing that. Like I said, this coffee and a conversation is only public because I believe that running for public office means that I should have everything open to the public, except for my personal podcast. That is my no holds bar, knockout, drag out. I'm going to say what I want. When I sit here and I go, Kristi Noem, you dumb, I can't say it. Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter forces you to censor yourself. The Patreon doesn't. So by just $5 a month, you help support me out in a way that really I'd be grateful for. Allow me to free myself, please. Help me break the chains of this censorship slavery that we are falling under. So, like I said, that's what you're going to see starting soon on my Facebook, is that you can't even read what I'm posting unless you are paying the $5 a month Patreon member access. So, that is just for your guys' future heads up. It's nothing personal to anybody. Like I said, it's just time for a change, and I believe that would be it. So, all right, if I didn't miss anything, let me know. You got a few seconds here in the comments before I call it a day. If ye love wealth better than liberty, the tranquility of servitude than the animated contest of freedom, go from us in peace. We ask not your consoles or arms. Crouch down and lick the hands which feed you. May your chains sit lightly upon you, and may posterity forget that you were ever our countrymen. Samuel Adams, 1776. Here's a good one, just for a little thought in the day. go ahead and make sure to think while it's still legal. Eventually, this government's going to figure out how to read all our brain thoughts and make it brain thoughts, thought crimes, an actual crime. And if you think there's no victim, there's no crime, now is bad. Wait until thought crimes are a legitimate thing, and wait until you see how many people are going to be destroyed by this. So, let's see. What else do we got here? I think that's about it. I think I ran a little bit over, but hey, at the end of the day, it is what it is. So, I don't see any more comments going on. So, with that being said, you guys, the coffee's cold. Conversation was great. Have a good day or don't. The choice is always yours.